Have you ever found yourself staring into the distance, feeling that subtle yet persistent restlessness? That profound sense that there's something more, something fundamental that eludes our daily routines, our successes, our distractions. This relentless search for a greater meaning, for a connection that always seems just out of reach. What if I told you this isn't just your imagination or some passing existential phase? What if I revealed that this restlessness is, in fact, the echo of your soul, a sign that you're tuning into an ancient knowledge, a powerful wisdom that was deliberately veiled, kept under lock and key, not just by occult masters, but by the silent guardians of primordial wisdom? There is a map, not a physical map, but a secret code of consciousness, a master key that details the soul's journey towards its full realization. A journey so potent, so viscerally transformative, that for centuries it was considered forbidden. And understand this clearly, not because it's evil, but because of its staggering power. The power to dismantle illusions, to break invisible chains, and to awaken undeniably the divine that pulses latently within each and every one of us. A power that, in the wrong hands or superficially understood, could be destabilizing, but in the hands of a sincere seeker becomes the ultimate tool for liberation. Today, we won't just peek behind the curtain. We will tear the veil wide open. Together, we will navigate the 5 forbidden stages of spiritual awakening, the very portals that initiates have crossed in silence throughout history. Prepare yourself, because what is about to be revealed isn't just theory, it's a mirror. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand the hidden mechanisms of your own consciousness in ways you never imagined, but you might finally reclaim the innate power that has always been yours by right, patiently waiting to be unleashed. Do you have the courage to discover which stage you are truly in? Stay with me, because the truth doesn't just surprise, it liberates. And your liberation might be much closer than you think. Welcome, truth seekers. If you found your way here, know that it's no accident. There's a greater force guiding your steps, an inner whisper that brought you to this very moment. Spiritual awakening isn't a single event, but a journey, a climb through stages that challenge us, break us, and ultimately rebuild us. Many feel lost in this process, confused, alone, perhaps even thinking they're going crazy. That's why the ancient masters mapped out these stages. They knew that by understanding the journey, we gain clarity. We gain a sense of belonging, the certainty that we are not alone in this sacred quest. These 5 stages are like portals. Each one reveals a deeper layer of who you are and the universe around you. They are forbidden because they challenge the status quo, break the chains of illusion, and put you in direct contact with your creative power. Today, you will receive the keys to understand these portals. You're about to embark on the greatest adventure of all, the discovery of your true essence. Let's dive into the first stage, the one where it all begins, often with a simple discomfort. We now enter the first portal, stage 1, the silent call, the awakening of the dormant seed. Have you felt it? That subtle, almost imperceptible feeling that the script you've been following just doesn't fit anymore. The promising career, the stable relationships, the hobbies that once fulfilled you. Suddenly, everything seems to lose its color, like a fading landscape. It's not quite pain, nor deep sadness. It's something more subtle, a longing, a nostalgia for a home you don't remember, a thirst for something you can't name, a persistent echo that says, "This can't be all there is." It's the silent call, coming from the abyssal depths of your soul, whispering that there's a greater purpose, a broader truth, patiently waiting for you. This is the first tremor. The divine seed, long dormant, begins to germinate in the darkness. Signs you're here, poetic synchronicities. The universe starts sending you winks. Repeated numbers, 1111, 2222, jump out at you. Feathers appear out of nowhere on your path. The right song plays at the exact right moment. You think of someone, and they call. You meet the right person who says the exact phrase you needed to hear. These are the invisible threads of existence showing themselves, reminding you that there's a greater order and you're connected to it. The theater of dreams. Your dream world becomes a vivid stage, sometimes more real than waking life. Intense, lucid dreams, sometimes disturbing, other times ecstatic, bringing coded messages, ancestral fears, or dormant potentials to the surface. You wake up feeling like you've visited another place, received important information, even if you don't fully understand it. The esoteric magnet, subjects that once seemed distant, irrelevant, or crazy talk, spirituality, energy, meditation, crystals, astrology, quantum physics, ancient philosophies, suddenly attract you with an irresistible magnetic force. You feel a hunger for this kind of knowledge, and each discovery feels less like learning and more like remembering something your soul already knew. The existential misfit. You start feeling like an actor in your own life, playing a role that no longer fits. Trivial conversations tire you. The places you used to frequent seem strange or superficial. Social masks become heavy and unbearable. You feel different, as if your vibrational frequency is changing and no longer tunes into the old radio station. Frequent emotions. Confusion is the fog between the old world and the new one dawning. What on earth is happening to me? Am I going crazy? Melancholy arises from the silent farewell to the old self and life as it was. Loneliness, even in a crowd, because it's terribly difficult to translate this inner revolution to those still vibrating on the old frequency. But amidst all this, a stubborn spark of curiosity and an inexplicable hope emerge that something wonderful, something true, is about to happen. The liberating truth of this stage. Listen closely and let this sink into your heart. If this resonates with you, celebrate. This dissatisfaction, this confusion are not errors or flaws. They are your inner compass screaming, "North is this way, wake up." It's your soul, tired of exile, calling you back home to your truth. Don't fight this current. Surrender to it. Listen to the whispers. Follow the clues. Welcome the discomfort. This isn't the end of anything. It's the true beginning. It's the first step, conscious or not, on your journey back to your own magnificent and forgotten light. Prepare yourselves, for we now enter the most feared territory, and perhaps the most crucial of the journey. The portal where many give up, but where true soul warriors are forged. Stage 2. The dark night of the soul, the shattering of the veils. If the first stage was a whisper, this is the roar of the universe. Here, the call becomes impossible to ignore because your soul, in its infinite love and wisdom, understands that sometimes the only way to truly awaken us is to shake our very foundations. The universe grabs the megaphone. It's here that it forces us to face the raw, naked truth, often through crises that seem to pull the rug out from under us. Devastating losses, painful breakups, frightening diagnoses, financial collapses, deep existential crises. The dark night is when the structures of your old life, everything that gave you a false sense of security and identity, begin to collapse like a house of cards in a storm. Does it sound terrifying? It is. It's visceral. But it is in this apparent darkness, in this demolition controlled or not so controlled by your own soul, that true purification and liberation can finally occur. The internal experience. It's a period of profound and at times terrifying disorientation. The map you used becomes useless. The ground disappears beneath your feet. You feel stripped bare, exposed, intensely vulnerable, like a crab that has lost its shell. The beliefs that sustained you, the pillars of your identity, are mercilessly questioned and often pulverized. Fears, traumas, pains, and shadows you've spent a lifetime hiding under the rug or locking in the basement of your psyche surge with overwhelming force, demanding to be seen. It's the direct confrontation, face to face, without filters or anesthesia, with everything you most feared, with everything you desperately tried to avoid. It's the eye of the soul's hurricane. Unmistakable signs. The death of the ego identity. The question, who am I, echoes in the void, and there's no satisfying answer. Without your job, your status, your relationship, your beliefs, you no longer know who you are. It's the painful but necessary death of the false self, the persona you built to survive in the world. The encounter with the shadow. There's nowhere left to run. Anger, jealousy, envy, greed, paralyzing fear, abyssal sadness, shame. All the emotions considered negative emerge with volcanic force, not to destroy you, but to be seen, welcomed, and finally integrated. It's your encounter with your dark twin, who, in truth, only wishes to be acknowledged and loved. The forced retreat, the noise, the superficiality, and the demands of the outer world become almost unbearable. A visceral need for isolation arises, not out of misanthropy, but like a wounded animal seeking its den to heal. It's a forced retreat to be able to hear yourself amidst the inner chaos and process the immense transformation underway. The radical disillusionment. You question everything with a painful clarity. Society, the system, religion, family, your own values, and above all, the lies you told yourself to feel safe. The veil of illusion rips, and reality, however harsh, begins to show itself without makeup. Dominant emotions. Yes, there's despair, the feeling of falling into a bottomless abyss. There's the atavistic fear of the unknown. There's anger at the loss and apparent injustice. There's the deep sadness of grief for what was and will never be again. Loneliness can feel like a heavy, cold cloak. But paradoxically, amidst the ruins, blinding flashes of clarity begin to emerge. And upon releasing the ties of the past, even if by force, a strange and powerful sense of liberation begins to dawn. It's the pain and beauty of spiritual nakedness, the liberating truth of this crossing. Listen with your soul and tattoo this onto your being. You are not breaking, you are breaking open. You are not being punished, you are being polished like a raw diamond. The dark night isn't a curse, it's the best disguised blessing there is, an act of radical love from your soul. It's the alchemical forge, the purifying fire that burns away illusions, ego, masks, and makes space for your true and indestructible light to shine. The cup must be emptied, however much it hurts, to be filled with the nectar of truth. Allow yourself to feel everything without judgment. Allow yourself to break, because it is through the cracks that the light gets in. Surrender is not weakness. It is your greatest act of courage and power right now. Trust the process, even without seeing the end of the tunnel. You are being guided through the fire to be reborn. If you survive the dark night, take a deep breath. You are emerging like a plant breaking through the earth after a long hibernation. Welcome to the first rays of sun. Welcome to stage 3, the Seeker's Path, conscious reconstruction. After the storm, the demolition, and the deep purification, the first rays of sun begin to touch the now fertile soil of your consciousness. Having crossed the darkness, or while still navigating its residual waves, because remember, it's a spiral, you no longer settle for ready-made answers, for it's always been this way, for superficiality. A visceral hunger for understanding drives you. You need to know, need to make sense of the chaos you experienced, need to find tools to build your new reality on solid, true foundations. This is the stage of voracious exploration, of intentional reconstruction, brick by brick, choice by choice. You become a pilgrim of knowledge, a spiritual prospector. You devour sacred books and quantum physics texts with the same fervor. You watch videos like this one, attend workshops, seek out mentors, therapists, guides, but now with a more critical, less naive eye. And crucially, you experiment. You dive into spiritual practices with curiosity and dedication, from silent meditation to dynamic yoga, from the healing power of Reiki to the mysteries of tarot, from ancestral shamanism to the wisdom of astrology, from neuroscience to Stoic philosophy. You are testing the waters, seeking what vibrates with you, what truly connects with you. The internal experience. It's like being at a banquet after a long fast. There's an insatiable thirst for knowledge, but also for direct experiences that connect you with the divine and your deepest self. You consciously begin to test new ways of being, thinking, feeling, interacting. Life becomes a great laboratory of self-knowledge. There's a fascinating feeling of assembling an immense cosmic puzzle, where each new piece, every book read, every practice embodied, every insight gained, brings more clarity, but intriguingly, also reveals new and deeper questions, pushing you ever onward. Clear signs of this stage, the spiritual sponge. You absorb information like never before. Your library, physical or digital, grows exponentially. Your feed fills with spiritual, philosophical, scientific themes. You want to talk about it, learn, share, and find others who speak your new language. The personal laboratory. You don't just read, you practice. You create morning rituals, meditate, even if with difficulty. Work with crystals, change your diet, seek alternative therapies, write in journals. You are actively seeking your tools, those that work for you, creating your own flight manual. Conscious alignment. Naturally, your lifestyle begins to change more visibly. You feel the need to purify your body, your mind, your environment. You might change your diet, your consumption habits, your sleep cycles. Old friendships that no longer resonate may peacefully drift away, while new, more aligned connections appear, as if by magic. It's a detox and an energetic realignment. The awakening of the inner compass. That subtle whisper from the first stage starts to become a clearer, more reliable voice. Your intuition, your gut feelings, your insights become more frequent. You start learning to differentiate the voice of the soul from the voice of fear or ego. and you dare to trust it. Typical emotions. The excitement of discovery is palpable. Hope is reborn with strength, now anchored in knowledge and practice. But there's also confusion. The spiritual supermarket is vast and full of offers, some brilliant, others dubious. The risk of getting lost in information instead of seeking transformation is real. Impatience can arise. When will I finally get enlightened? Bringing the subtle risk of the spiritual ego, the one who feels more evolved. But above all, there's a growing and wonderful feeling of empowerment and autonomy. You are consciously taking the reins of your life. The essential, liberating truth. The path is made by walking, and there is no single map, no single recipe that fits everyone. The most crucial lesson of this stage is to learn to discern. It's developing your internal truth detector, your resonance sensor. It's learning to listen to your own inner compass, your intuition, your heart. Not all that glitters is gold, especially in the vast spiritual marketplace. Beware of dogmas, of gurus demanding blind devotion, of easy promises and magic fixes. Filter, feel, question, test. Integrate only what truly resonates with your deepest truth. What makes you feel more free, more loving, more connected. Remember, the final answer is never out there. The books, the masters, the practices, they are just tools and signposts that help you look to the only place where all truth resides, within you. Your sovereignty is non-negotiable. Many reach the seeker stage and settle there, in an intellectual comfort zone. They accumulate books, certificates, spiritual jargon. But in practice, life changes little. It's a subtle trap of the ego, the spiritual ego, which delights in knowing without committing to being. But the masters knew, knowledge without embodiment is sterile. The true quantum leap, the true mastery, happens when we dare to cross the next portal. Stage 4, the dance of integration, the alchemy of the soul. Here, the frantic external search begins to quiet down. The journey turns inward once more, and with even greater depth, but now with the eyes of acquired wisdom and the courage forged in the dark night. This is the moment of the sacred marriage within, the mystical union of the sun and moon inside you. It's the moment to embrace, with profound honesty and love, not only your radiant light, your virtues and potentials, but also, and perhaps especially, your shadow. Those parts of you that were denied, repressed, judged, your fears, your insecurities, your anger, your envy. It's the great work of soul alchemy, learning to look at the dense lead of these energies and recognize the hidden gold of your wisdom, your strength, your passion, your most authentic humanity. It's learning to dance with your demons instead of fighting them. The internal experience. You begin to perceive the incessant dance of duality in everything, light and shadow, joy and sorrow, strength and vulnerability. And instead of resisting, fighting, or choosing a side, you begin to accept it as the very pulse of life. The quest for perfection, that self-imposed tyranny that causes so much suffering, dissolves like mist in the sun. You understand at a cellular level that you don't need to be perfect, pure, or always positive to be spiritual and worthy of love. You learn to recognize your triggers, your reactions, your wounds, but now with an eye of compassionate curiosity, like a scientist observing a phenomenon, without the whip of judgment. A growing sense of inner peace, a radical acceptance of who you are, with all your complexities and contradictions, begins to settle in. And from there, you start to live. perhaps for the first time, from a place of raw, beautiful, and courageous authenticity. Evident signs of this phase. Observer consciousness, the blue sky. You increasingly become the silent witness of your thoughts and emotions. Like the blue sky watching the clouds pass, you understand your patterns without completely identifying with them. You have anger, but you are not the anger. This creates a precious inner space that allows you to respond to life with wisdom, instead of just reacting to it from old conditioning. Radical compassion, starting with self. Judgment, both internal and external, drastically diminishes, losing its power. It gives way to a deep, genuine empathy, a visceral understanding that everyone, including you, is doing the best they can with the tools and level of consciousness they have. Compassion for others blossoms naturally from cultivated self-compassion. The art of healthy boundaries. You finally learn to say no with clarity, firmness, and love, without guilt or aggression. You understand that protecting your energy and honoring your needs isn't selfishness, but an act of self-respect and responsibility. Your relationships become truer, deeper, and more balanced. The courage of authenticity. The social masks fall away one by one, not out of rebellion, but out of weariness and a growing love for truth. You begin to express your truth, your feelings, your opinions, with kindness but with firmness, even if it displeases others. There's less need for external approval and more comfort and joy in simply being you. Less performance, more essence. Prevailing emotions. A peace that isn't the absence of problems, but an inner stillness that persists even amid storms. A deep acceptance of life as it is, with its ups and downs. A genuine gratitude for the lessons, even the painful ones. A self-love that isn't arrogance, but a tender and firm recognition of your intrinsic worth. The courage to be vulnerable and show your scars. And with all this, a serene and powerful responsibility for your own state of being and the energy you emanate into the world. There is a growing equanimity, a dynamic balance. The ultimate liberating truth. Wholeness, not perfection, is the true goal of the soul and the path to real holiness. Your shadow isn't your enemy to be conquered or eradicated. It's a sacred part of you, a potential ally, a source of misunderstood power and profound wisdom waiting to be integrated, healed, and loved. By embracing all parts of yourself, you don't become good, you become whole. And it is in this wholeness, in this inner unification, that true spiritual power, lasting peace, and the capacity to love unconditionally yourself, others, and life reside. You are not the light or the shadow. You are the consciousness that embraces both. You are the dance. We've reached the apex of our journey, the portal shining with the light of realization, the blooming of the lotus flower emerging immaculate from the mud and water. This is stage 5, life in unity, the blooming of the lotus. This is the stage that the hidden masters and sages of all traditions so valued and sought to embody. It's the unfolding of Christ consciousness, of Buddha nature, of the self, of Atman. The names are many, but the essence is the same, the direct realization of your divine nature. It's the moment when, having lovingly integrated all your parts, you naturally and profoundly transcend the great illusion of separation. The drop recognizes itself as the ocean. The sunbeam recognizes itself as the sun. You don't just believe, you feel. You know you are the deep and intrinsic connection with all beings, with Mother Earth in her sacredness, with the distant stars, with the very pulsing fabric of the universe. The external, frantic, and often exhausting search ceases, because you finally find the divine, not in some distant heaven or external guru, but vibrating within your own heart, and you recognize it mirrored in everything and everyone around you. The exile is over. You are home. The internal experience. It's crucial to understand. This is less a goal to be achieved or a trophy to be displayed, and more a state of being that unfolds continuously, a constant dance with the infinite. It's dwelling in a deep and unshakable peace, the peace at the eye of the storm, which remains serene even when the outer world rages. It's living a serene joy, bubbling and constant, that doesn't depend on external achievements or circumstances. It simply emanates from your being, like the fragrance of a flower. Life, in its smallest details, washing the dishes, walking in the park, talking with someone, becomes a meditation in motion, an act of sacred presence and reverence. Intuition is no longer an occasional flash. It is your primary guide, a clear and reliable current of wisdom that you follow with trust and surrender. You live from the expanded heart, and your actions are naturally and effortlessly moved by an unconditional, compassionate, and all-encompassing love. Signs of an awakened soul, living unity. Consciousness, the interconnection of all life, isn't a philosophical idea. It's your lived and felt reality. The pain of another resonates within you. The joy of another uplifts you. Compassion ceases to be a moral effort and becomes your intrinsic nature, your spontaneous response to the world. Harming another is harming yourself. Abiding in the now. The tyranny of time, with its anxiety about the future and the weight of attachment to the past, dissolves. You learn to honor the lessons of the past and dream of the future, but your abode, your real life, happens fully in the vibrant presence of the now. The present moment becomes your one and true home, a direct portal to eternity. The flow of embodied purpose. Your actions flow naturally, with grace and without effort, guided by inner wisdom and a clear sense of purpose. You no longer search for your purpose. You are your embodied purpose. It is your unique song being sung by the universe, through you, for the good of all. The overflow of joyful service. A genuine, joyful, and irresistible desire arises to contribute, to serve, to alleviate suffering and share your light, your gifts, your presence. Not out of ego, not to gain spiritual points or recognition, but like the sun that cannot help but shine, like the spring that cannot help but flow. It's the natural overflow of the love and abundance you now recognize yourself to be. Prevailing emotions, an unconditional love that embraces the saint and the sinner, beauty and pain without distinction. A serene joy that is the background music of your existence, regardless of circumstances. A deep peace that surpasses all rational understanding. An overwhelming gratitude for the simple, miraculous gift of existence. A universal compassion that knows no borders or conditions. And a profound and joyful sense of purpose and service to the whole. The final liberating truth. You are not a tiny, insignificant part of the universe. You are the entire universe experiencing itself in a unique, unrepeatable, and precious way. Awakening isn't about escaping the world, levitating above problems and humanity. It's about diving into it, dancing with it, living it fully, but now from a place of heightened consciousness, unconditional love, and felt unity. Your greatest gift, your greatest service to the world, is simply to be who you truly are, in your totality, authenticity, and radiance. And in doing so, you become a lighthouse, an anchoring point of light, radiating a frequency that silently illuminates the path for others and helps heal the world. Service isn't an obligation, it isn't a burden. It is the joyful celebration of your awakened soul, sharing the treasures it has found within. Believe me, this map we're uncovering today isn't some New Age invention. It's a golden thread, as old as human consciousness itself, woven into the subtext of history and whispered through time. Mystics walked it in the initiatory temples of Egypt and in the Eleusinian mysteries. The alchemists, true psychologists of the soul, coded it in their enigmatic symbols, seeking the great work, nothing less than inner transformation, the lead of the ego into the gold of the spirit. The great Hermes Trismegistus, legendary father of hidden wisdom, gave us the master key on the emerald tablet. As above, so below, as within, so without. He knew, as all initiates do, that this inner journey of the soul reflects, like a sacred mirror, the very mysteries of creation and the cosmos. The Eastern traditions, with their millennial depth, speak of the wheel of samsara, the cycle of suffering and ignorance, and the noble eightfold path leading to nirvana, passing through countless trials and purifications. The Gnostics sought gnosis, the direct saving knowledge that frees the divine spark trapped in matter. The Kabbalists mapped the tree of life as the soul's upward journey, and more recently, a modern master like Carl Jung, with his genius, mapped the individuation process, that heroic journey to integrate the shadow, confront the archetypes, and realize the self, the totality. They all knew. They walked these stages, each in their own language, each in their own time. But beyond what's written in accessible books, what was the true inner knowledge? The insider knowledge? What did the masters really know? The things hidden between the lines, often conveniently omitted or misinterpreted, even by those with good intentions. What are the secrets that can change everything about how you view your own journey? First, and perhaps most comforting, these stages are never linear. Forget the idea of a ladder you climb step by step, never looking back. Think of an upward spiral. You will fluctuate between them. You will revisit the dark night, even after having glimpsed unity. But each return isn't a regression. It's a recalibration, an opportunity to heal deeper layers, to integrate the lesson an octave higher with more wisdom and compassion. Therefore, never judge or blame yourself for regressing. Welcome these returns as a sign that your soul is doing thorough and deep work, leaving no stone unturned. Second, and the most dangerous for systems of control. The forbidden was never about external danger or black magic. It was, and always has been, about the immense and uncontrollable inner power that awakening unleashes. They knew that a truly awakened soul becomes sovereign. It cannot be manipulated by fear, controlled by dogmas, or seduced by empty promises of external power. It questions, it discerns, it creates its own reality from within. It loves unconditionally, which makes it immune to hatred and separation. And this, my friends, fundamentally threatens all power structures, whether political, religious, or social, that are based on fear, guilt, ignorance, and maintaining the illusion of separation. The knowledge was forbidden to keep the masses docile and asleep. Awakening is the greatest revolutionary act, an act of freedom there is. and most importantly, the most practical and perhaps the most challenging. They knew that the ultimate goal of the great journey is not to escape the world, to transcend matter and live on some ethereal cloud, far from human problems. That's a misconception, a subtle escape. The supreme goal, the true mastery, is to transform the world through your own transformation. It's to embody the spirit in matter fully. It's to live spirituality in the here and now, on the battlefield and in the garden of daily life, in the way you wash the dishes, how you handle traffic, how you relate to your family and colleagues, how you face every challenge and every joy. It's being Buddha in the marketplace, Christ in the office. It's bringing heaven to earth, starting with the sacred territory of your own body, your mind, your heart, and your own life. It's making your very being a living temple. If you recognized yourself in any of these stages, take a deep breath. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are awakening. And that is the bravest and most beautiful thing a human being can do. Every tear, every doubt, every moment of ecstasy. It's all part of it. Everything has a purpose. You are exactly where you need to be. Honor your journey. Honor your courage. Look at yourself in the mirror and see the divine spark that has always been there, waiting for this moment to shine. You are part of an immense wave of awakening that is sweeping the planet. Your personal journey contributes to the upliftment of all humanity. What you are doing matters. You matter. Allow yourself to feel the love the universe has for you. And more importantly, allow yourself to feel love for yourself. You are worthy, you are powerful, and you are on the right path. Your expansion is inevitable. This journey is deep and sometimes lonely, but it doesn't have to be. I would love to know, in which of these stages do you recognize yourself most today? Share in the comments below. Reading each other's experiences strengthens us, reminds us that we are a community of seekers. Your story might be the validation someone else needs to hear today. Let's create a safe and loving space here. And if you felt a connection with this message and want to continue exploring the mysteries of the soul and the universe, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications. We have much more to uncover together. Remember, you are light, you are love, and your journey is sacred. Keep shining. We'll see you in the next video.